Collectibles friends, back for another video. It is Prismatic Evolutions Day. Release day at the retailers where everybody storms the Walmart, the Target, the Toys R Us. Man, I wish it was Toys R Us, don't you? Over at Costco, fighting each other, battling each other, the brawls. There's bound to be some videos here over the next couple of days of grown men, maybe even grown women, fighting each other, pulling hair, fighting each other for Prismatic Evolutions, even though we did just hear that they are going to do a reprint, and it's probably going to be a massive reprint, right? I mean, it's going to be a massive reprint. There will not be a shortage of this product. And to be honest with you guys, there's not a shortage of the supply here now. It's just demand is elevated right now. So it feels like there's a shortage. There's a shortage for today, but there will not be a long-term shortage of Prismatic Evolutions. I've got a question today. Again, learning from viewership. I'm a sports card guy coming over to the Pokemon world of cards, the Poke Cards. Really enjoying it. My son, again, I think I mentioned this in a previous video, my 9-year-old, big into Pokemon. And so he's also enjoying kind of the singles buys. I'm showing him the sealed stuff and he's like, oh, this is actually pretty sweet, Dad. But why are Pokemon card collectors so mad? And I have actually kind of segged this out into 5 different food groups or 5 different buckets of people. And let's just kind of talk through this because I feel like there's so many competing narratives that I'm hearing when I'm listening to talking heads on YouTube or just people on Instagram. And it's really fascinating to me. So, all right, let's look at the 5 food groups of people here. All right, out of Pokemon consumers, we've got the mom and dads, and I can speak to this. Honestly, I've got a handful of other couples, other friends that buy their kids Pokemon cards. So whether that's a new release or singles or whatever it is, they're into Pokemon cards. There's a lot of this group. It feels like anyway. Lots of moms and dads out there looking for Pokemon card product. And now today it's kind of more like hunting for Cabbage Patch Kids in the 80s. So we've got that food group, that group of people. All right, the people that actually play the Pokemon game. The game pieces, the people that are kind of the true Pokemon, the TCG, they are the game players. And I've heard a lot of narrative around like, hey, you know what? There's not a lot of people that play these games. Like nobody plays the game. Nobody plays the game. I hear that a lot from different factions. And I got a comment on a video going back a few days and I have a small channel in the space and he was a game player. So I'm like, I wonder how many people are actually playing the games. And here locally, where I am in North Carolina, there are a few different stores, shops, collectible stores that are running Pokemon tournaments at all times. And I've thought about like, man, I need to take my son down there and just kind of check that out. So in my town, there's a few places where there's tournaments going on. I know that's nationally, probably globally. So how many people are playing the game recreationally or competitively in tournaments and that sort of a thing? Very curious to kind of know. I wonder what that percentage is. All right, the next one. How many are flippers / scalpers? So these are the videos, of course, that you're seeing where people are filling up the cart at the Costco. They're throwing them in and they're just really kind of as what Rudy calls them, the tendies, making some quick tendies because they're buying the box at retail and then they're selling it on the secondary market and making a few quick bucks. I don't honestly, like, maybe that's just for fun for people. I just don't see how there's huge money in that. But if you're doing it in volume, then fine. But maybe it's just the kind of the hunt, it's the thrill of the chase. You're going and you're buying a box for X and you got there before everybody else. And that's kind of a fun chase thing. That's got to be what it is because nobody's making huge money doing this other than people that are able to get it in bulk, and then resell and that sort of a thing. So they don't care about the product. They're just a flipper / scalper. They don't do anything else with it. That's one food group here. So the people that are scalping or the people that are just kind of buying and quick selling the flippers. And the other part of this too would be on the single side. The people that are getting the product quickly, PSA 10s, they're grading them quickly for a PSA 10, and then they're reselling. So that can also occur on the single side as well. We have this in sports cards, flippers, to where very quickly trying to get those PSA 10s to the market. The first PSA 10s usually get kind of those higher prices, and then it kind of slows down over time. But that also big part of sports cards, and I assume also, especially with PSA grading 500,000 TCG cards every month, that there is, a lot of these folks that are out here just trying to get those new promo cards, get them in a PSA 10, get those new chase cards, and then reselling on the secondary market. So flippers / scalpers. The next group, how many are just card collectors? So they're not necessarily a flipper or a scalper. They're also not necessarily a game player. They just like the cards, and maybe they're going for some of the chase cards, and they're filling out binders, filling out sets. They're literally just a card collector. You know, what percentage are just card collectors? And then lastly, and I'm probably more so in this bucket, mostly in this bucket, and this is the sealed holders or the singles holders. So for me, this is a really intriguing space. I've got a nice connection with my 9-year-old who enjoys Pokemon. So when the cards come in the mail, it's actually cool to him. So I've got a nice connection there. But outside of that, outside of us kind of like hoarding this stuff, collecting a lot of the stuff to hold long term, because a lot of what I'm buying, like the singles that I'm buying are, you know, first edition Hollows, 1999 stuff. I'm collecting vintage. I'm collecting 99, first edition Hollows. I'm collecting early 2000 stuff. And then I am collecting on the sealed side, some of the stuff over the last 4 years, but I'm also looking at stuff that's older than that. It might be a 3-pack blister or it might be a booster box. It just depends. I'm trying to get some variety, kind of get my feet wet in a few different places. So in the Pokemon YouTube world, this is, Pokemon investing, and I say investing, but really it's speculation. We're all speculators in this. The assumption is that, hey, this stuff as it ages, it just gets more expensive over time. You buy sealed stuff, you're just patient, you hold it, and it goes up over time. So it doesn't feel like there's a lot of downside risk. Of course, there's downside risk in anything. Who knows? Maybe Pokemon just loses favor over the next 5-10 years. Nobody cares about it. I don't really see it happening. It's a huge IP globally. Again, that's the reason why I'm buying in big part, because I'm finally to the point where I'm like, I need to have some exposure in this stuff. It's not going anywhere in my mind. Again, just one guy's opinion, and it's a lot of people's opinion, because there's a lot of sealed holders, and not even just sealed, but singles holders. Whether it's vintage or it's some of the new chase cards that they're just collecting. There's a lot of folks that are buying and holding that are speculating on this stuff really holding up over time. And I guess this leads me to the ultimate question: is I don't really understand why folks in this space in any of these areas are mad at this stage. Why is anybody mad when you have a really robust singles market? So if you're a card collector or you're collecting the game pieces because you play the game, there's a ton of different avenues to go out and get the cards that you need. If you are a sealed holder / speculator, prices have moved up here over the last, 60 days or so. But if you look at where they were, it feels like to me they were always kind of underpriced. So they're kind of more properly priced. And you could easily make an argument that a lot of the stuff is still underpriced. Again, nobody can see the future. I can't. Nobody knows what's going to happen. But when I see booster boxes that were selling a couple years ago at $80, $90, $100, and sitting there on PC just collecting dust, there's 36 packs in a booster box. You're talking about $2.50, and $2 or $2.50, or maybe even $3 for a pack. You compare that across other collectible spaces, sports cards, and especially, my God. And I understand totally different markets, but sports card person looking at this, it's like, this feels inexpensive. So people that are saying, this is priced out. I know that, PokeRev, we made a video going back a couple days ago. PokeRev saying he's sad and he's scared and oh my God, and it was so dramatic and just didn't make any sense. It's fine. And they're going to reprint this stuff and it's going to go down in price. And even the stuff that they don't reprint, even if you look at the stuff like a Fusion Strike that's at, $350, $400, $450 for a box, $450 for a box, which is holding steady there. It's not really climbing past $500. But again, you break that down per pack pricing, it's not insane. It's not crazy. We're talking about $12 a pack, $13, maybe $14, $15 a pack. Yes, comparative to what, 2 years ago when you could buy it at $2.50 or $3 a pack, that's pricey, still affordable for most people. And again, if you're collecting just the cards, the game pieces to play, or you're just a card collector to put them in binders, go out on the singles market. Singles market is flush on eBay and these other auction sites, and probably at card conventions and all that stuff with these cards. So I guess I don't really understand what I'm missing here. I don't really understand, the anger when it comes to Prismatic Evolutions or any of these other new sets that come out this year. Because guess what? These pre-releases, they're going to be expensive. They're going to get sold out, but they will get reprinted. And guess what? All the boxes are going to get opened upon release. Prismatic Evolutions, if you want those cards, they're about to get busted up all over the place. They're going to get opened up. All these boxes are going to get opened up. Yeah, you've got the sealed collectors that are going to collect that. The sealed speculators are going to put some away. But there's going to be a ton of that's ripped. And then just go on to eBay, click on the old eBay search, and you will find it. It will not be rare or scarce. You will find cards that you are looking for. All right, friends, let me know your thoughts as I continue to learn the Poke card space. Stay healthy, stay awesome, and I will talk to you again later.